This is Splice. Hello, people of Splice Pink. I'm Rishad. I'm one of the co-founders of Splice. We've been doing a little mini-series on reader revenue these past few episodes, where we've been having conversations with Jane Mahoney at Private Media in Melbourne. She told us she was in the middle of starting up a reader revenue practice for her company, so we got excited. In her last episode, she told us about hiring a team. This one is all about onboarding. How's it going, Jane?
Hey everyone, good to be back. So this week I wanted to talk about onboarding because some of the things that I flagged last week, particularly around skill sets that we're looking for, I said that I'm super keen to get a bunch of people who don't have experience in the media industry. So, people who've come from like e-commerce backgrounds, telcos, that kind of thing, startups, just like totally different spaces and have a different mindset to those of us who, have come up through journalism and maybe have more of an editorial background or have only worked at newspapers or news publications. But obviously that then creates some issues in that while we have a whole bunch of new skill sets and mindsets coming into the business, we also have a bunch of people who don't have much experience with news. News as a product is different to your general kind of e-commerce product. So there is a different sort of thinking that's required when you're running a marketing campaign or that kind of thing around a news product. So that's where onboarding is super important. And to be honest, that's my role. I mean, I'm, trying to get this team of marketers around me who are way more experienced, way more intelligent than me, know way more about what they're doing. But then my job is to direct that kind of talent towards selling news and educating them around how it looks in our industry so that we can get a good balance of, knowledge that we have within the business with these new skill sets and approaches to things. So I want to tell you a little bit about the onboarding process that I've put together for the new team. We had our first hire start, which was super exciting. So that's our performance marketer. He's the guy who's going to be looking after all our paid social efforts, which we haven't had someone internally looking after that. We've only used external companies. So we did a lot of testing last year around things like, paid Facebook campaigns and Google search ads. We were able to make it work for us and justify a hire within the business. So super exciting. But once again, it's someone who hasn't worked in the news industry. So first and foremost, it's all about sharing resources. There's so much great stuff out there, whether it's like the Google News Initiative, the Facebook Journalism Project, Table Stakes by the American Press Institute, Neiman Lab. There's so many good resources out there around reader revenue, around case studies, what other publications are doing. So what I've done is gone through and put together a bit of a starter pack, with a really top level, here's what you need to know about the news as a product, here's how to work with newsrooms, retaining customers, onboarding customers, thinking about things like different calls to action around the website, how we use email. Yeah, everything that if you work in marketing and news, you're probably across. I mean, it's the kind of stuff that I feel like I could talk about for hours. So I'm keen to put together a resource that can be shared more widely within the industry as well. The other most important thing that we're trying to get everyone's head around is the funnel, which anyone who's done sort of work in reader revenue, you've probably become familiar with the funnel. Most people coming from a marketing background actually are way better at this than I think a lot of us in the news industry are. So, the funnel basically is like a 5 or 6 step map that traces the path of someone who's never heard of your publication and has just maybe come across it in a Google search or their friends posted something on Facebook, all the way through to getting their email address, then getting them to hand over credit card details and then getting them to become a loyal paying subscriber. So yeah, taking our new hires through the funnel explaining to them how we think about it internally and within the news industry. Once again, it's a bit different to other products. So I've given our new hires plenty of resources around that. Plenty of resources as well around any research we've done on our readers. We're a reader revenue team, so the focus is the customer. I've put together a little bit of a guide around how to do good reporting. I do have a background as a data analyst. So that's kind of one of my little skill sets I can pass on. I'm always a big fan of thinking like an analyst, asking questions like an analyst, and if the data isn't presented nicely, it's probably riddled with mistakes in the underlying data. So yeah, a few pointers on how to put together a nice report and what graphs to use, that kind of thing. And then finally, the last step. So all these resources I sort of hand over to our new hires to go through in their first week. I don't really want to throw them in the deep end, not till the second week at least. But at the end of that week, we'll then go through a document with obviously things like their goals and KPIs, but a bit of an onboarding questionnaire as well. So one of the questions that I want to ask all my new hires is how they want this job to look on a resume or on LinkedIn if they were to go for another job in 5 years, and what are the skills, experiences, and achievements they would want to showcase for any prospective employers. So that helps kind of align all our internal goals and KPIs with what they want to get out of it. Yeah, so that's our onboarding. As I said, bringing in people from different industries into a whole new setting. So my job is to make sure that they have all the tools that they need and they're not sort of trying to work it out as they go over the next few weeks. Super keen to hear how other people might educate people within your company, particularly around reader revenue. There's always so much new information coming out. I mean, I've given my new hires a bunch of emails to subscribe to, like Neiman Lab, Splice, of course, DigiDay. There's so many resources and so many things going on in the space. So yeah, I think more than anything, it's just trying to whittle down what the most important stuff is for them to take away in their first week. And yeah, I'll keep everyone updated on how that goes, and hopefully we'll have our own onboarding resource, which is a bit of a reader revenue one-on-one to share in the next couple of months more widely within the industry. Thanks. See you next time.